Aaron Rodgers skipped the New York Jets' mandatory minicamp for an unexcused reason, and this could be a sign that we're nearing the end of the Jets as we know them.
There'll be a percentage of that that's just for no reason. That's part of it.
How's it going today? My name is Jesse McNamara, and welcome to Point of View. Before we get into it today, I just want to say we always appreciate your feedback and look forward to reading your comments like the one we've got here. Also, be sure to stay tuned to the end of this episode to see if you can guess today's trivia question down below. To today's topic, do the Jets have any chance at remaining contenders with Rodgers under center? I thought at the start of the offseason that they were definitely in the running, but now I'm not sure Robert Saleh will still be around a year from now. He signed a 5-year deal in 2021 and is entering his 4th year of that contract. So far with Saleh at the helm, the Jets are without a winning season and have a combined record of 18-33 without a postseason appearance. In fact, the Jets have the longest active drought of missing the playoffs at 13 seasons. So what Saleh is doing in New York isn't new, but it can't go on any longer. And to add to his struggles, he now has to deal with quarterbacks that just can't help but make headlines that have nothing to do with his performance on the field. First, it was the whole Robert Kennedy vice presidency thing. That was a weird and random storyline that ended up going nowhere. And the latest distraction is Rodgers missing mandatory minicamp for what is allegedly an ayahuasca retreat, but we don't know for sure. What we do know is although Rodgers let Saleh know that he wouldn't be at minicamp, it's still an unexcused absence, and Rodgers is subject to fines. Here's Saleh discussing Rodgers' absence in what ended up as a viral press conference clip.
Aaron and I spoke before OTA started. He's been very good in communication. He's been here the entire time. It's inexcused, but he had an event that was very important to him, which he communicated.
I'm going to be honest. I don't exactly know how to react to that. Could Saleh have handled that differently with the media? Probably. Should Rodgers be at mandatory practices when he's the star quarterback who missed the entire season last year? Yeah, he really should. But this is just another piece in what has been a mess of the new era with Rodgers, and it's getting really disappointing. I got to cheer for Rodgers as a Packers fan for a good chunk of my life, and I'll admit that those final years were exhausting, but at least we had the history of success and continuity so we could brush it off a little easier. There's none of that in place in New York, which makes it all the more frustrating. But what choice does Saleh and the Jets have? It was already reported last November that an anonymous general manager said, quote, if they weren't stuck with Rodgers for next year, absolutely, he'd be firing everyone, end quote. For all intents and purposes, this is a literal championship or bust season for much of the Jets roster and staff. Rodgers is in the final year of his deal and has played 4 snaps thus far. Saleh has proven next to nothing in his 3 seasons, and offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett has been unproductive despite having some good weapons to work with. So what exactly do you do with Rodgers? Well, he may have provided the answer for us himself. Here's his answer at his end-of-the-season press conference when asked what the team needs to take away from 2023.
Anything that doesn't have anything to do with winning needs to be assessed. So anything in this building that we're doing individually or collectively that has nothing to do with real winning needs to be assessed. Everything that we do has to have a purpose too. When you step in the building, there's intentionality with everything that you do. And it's not a half the time thing, it's not a sometimes thing, it's not a most of the time thing, it's an every time thing. If you want to be a winning organization, you have to put yourself in position to win championships and be competitive. Everything that you do matters, and the bullshit that has nothing to do with winning needs to get out of the building.
Really? This is almost too on the nose. If he was anyone else, he'd be benched or cut. But the Jets have no chance to reach the playoffs, let alone a Super Bowl this season, if Rodgers isn't the MVP caliber quarterback they traded for. I guess you could turn to Tyrod Taylor, who I've always liked and can definitely win some games, especially with the elite defense the Jets showed last season, but would that save the coaching staff's jobs? No way. Your best option as a Jets fan is to blindly trust that Rodgers will be ready for Week 1 and minimize the distractions from September to January. There's nearly no evidence of that being possible, but crazy things happen in sports. And betting sites seem to think the Jets will be somewhere around 9 or 10 wins, so they still have some confidence and maybe there's a little solace in a season that ends in a postseason appearance. I don't know how all you Jets fans feel, but if I were you, I'd trust that Rodgers still has MVP talent in him and will perform in spite of the off-the-field issues that will inevitably continue to follow him. And if you can't get to that point, it's going to be yet another miserable season. And if you're the type of fan that would like to ignore all of this and keep your opinions to the actions on the field, we can help with that too. For more on how new running back Braylon Allen is going to be a stud in the NFL, check out this recent episode of Point of View. And the moment you've been waiting for, here's the answer to today's trivia question. We appreciate you tuning in to this episode of Point of View, and we will see you in the next one.